Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're doing our live chat tonight with special guest Alex W. Leith. Leith, Alex, are you there?
Yes, I'm here alive and well.
Hello?
Yes, I'm here alive and well. Can you hear me?
I'm not hearing you.
You're not hearing me? I'm here.
Hold on just a second.
Well, I know the audience can hear me. I hope.
Hello?
Can you hear me now?
Alex, can you hear me?
I hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh, wow. I seem to be having some technical difficulty.
Yeah, because I'm
Hmm.
on. I'm on. Let's see.
Alex.
Yes, I'm here. I'm not sure why you can't hear me because I'm here.
Hello?
Technical
Testing,
difficulties.
testing. 1, 2, 3.
Okay. Maybe I can leave and come back. Let me see that.
Hello?
Yes, can you hear me?
Okay, I just figured out a really idiotic mistake I made. Sorry to our audience. Please forgive me. Oh my goodness. Okay. We're rolling now. We're rolling. We're rolling on down the street, rolling on down the road. Welcome everyone. Sorry for that technical difficulty. We want to welcome you to the broadcast. Today's special guest is Alex W. Lee. I'm actually Aubrey, and we're going to be talking about Ready to Love, Season 5, Washington, D.C. edition. All right, let's get into it. So, Alex, what do you think about last week's elimination? What did you think about that? Then they had elimination, and what did you think about that? Did they eliminate the right person?
Well, I think they did. We're talking about episode 8. Of course, this is season 5, and they eliminated Sean, and I think they got it right. Because I think that he was digging himself a hole consistently throughout the show. I think he's a nice guy, but I think he just didn't have the answers that women are typically looking for. I mean, the number one thing, I mean, if you can't be a provider, that's an automatic turnoff. The minute
Right.
the minute you say I could pay one or two bills, that's a wrap. You know. Now, if you're in a situation where you're already with a woman and you've been building a life and everything's good or whatever, and there's a loss of income for some kind of unforeseen circumstance, that's different. But you don't come into the fray talking about
No.
I can I can pay a bill or two. You know.
My mouth fell open so wide when he said that. I was like, no. Even Sabrina, who he was saying it to her friends as they were interviewing him, she was like in her confessional, she was like, brother, you are digging a ditch too deep for me to save you from, okay?
Right. And
She
he
was
kept digging it.
yeah, like what was that about? Like Well, okay, so my understanding when they went on date on a date prior to this, he was talking about actually having children. So now, in what world do you have children, but then you can only pay one bill or maybe two?
Uh, I don't know, but if you're gonna be paid one bill or two, and you got children, somebody not gonna eat. I'm saying right now,
You think the kids aren't gonna eat?
somebody not gonna eat. Somebody not gonna eat. So, but that's the main thing. See, guys always talk about women, looking for money, the money hungry, the this, that, and the third. But even in today's time, you have all these women, spouting about I'm independent, I'm strong, I'm this, I'm that. They're still looking for a man to lead. They're still looking for a man to show that he can be the leader, the protector, the provider, and so forth. Most of the time, women that are saying I'm this strong woman and independent because they're pushed into that situation by irresponsible dudes that don't want to do right. So they have to go out here and survive and be independent and be strong. But most women, even in today's time, would prefer if the man could provide and protect and do those things, and they work beside him in that capacity. That's my
Right.
belief.
I think you're hitting on something because I know a lot of women who are in that high value woman profile, professional women making six figures, doing quite well, beautiful homes, cars, the works. And my friend, she says to me the other day, she says, I want a man who earns as much or more than I do. I'd like to be able to finally in life be able to kick back my feet and just turn the reins over to this man, my partner.
Right. Exactly. And I want to say, Kia Simone is on. She says, "Hey, hey, lovely people. Hey, Kia."
Yeah, I posted that. I'm putting that up right now. That's a good fellow YouTuber friend of mine that is
Right.
so wonderful. She has a wonderful channel called the Kia Simone channel.
Right.
Yeah, good to see you, Kia. Hey there. Hey girl.
Yeah. Just wanted to acknowledge before we get back to these crazy folk here. Um.
Right.
So. So.
So Shy can only pay a bill or two. I'm trying to figure out what are the poor kids gonna do? What are they gonna have to eat? Are they gonna be able to have fresh diapers, and should they wear the same diaper every day or what?
Or they better get used to ramen noodles. You know,
Ramen noodles.
ramen noodles. You know what I mean? Too much
Okay.
salt. Too much
Hmm.
salt. They keep starving. You know.
Right. Okay, yeah. I don't know. I just I was floored. I think, but did you get the feeling that hey there Felicia, how you doing? Good to see you. Okay, you're making dinner, so okay. So did you get the feeling though that maybe Sean was ready to go home? Because I didn't feel like he put a lot into that. I don't know. First of all, I don't know. I felt like Sabrina kind of set him up by telling her friends, that he had said that, I like you, but maybe down the road in a month or two, I might end up hurting your feelings. Like, what was that about?
No, he set himself up. He set himself up, in my opinion.
Oh, he set himself up. Okay,
He
okay.
set himself up
Yeah.
because even at the dinner date, she looked at him like, okay, well, what are you saying? Because I think they're doing a bad job, maybe of this season in general, of matching these people up. Because a lot of these women have kids, and a lot of these men don't. You know, and the women that have the children, they're saying, listen, I don't want any more children. I'm ready to live my life, yada yada. The men want children, and these guys are over 35, over 40, whatever, and they want children now, and they're dating women that
Wow.
don't want any more children. So that's the mismatch right off the bat.
Yeah, that's the sad thing that I've been noticing too. You've got what is it, Aisha, very beautiful, very bright, vibrant woman. But she already has two kids from a previous marriage. and she's saying that she doesn't want to try for any more children. She doesn't want any more children. Her kids are, I think, like 11 and what is it, 13 or something like that. She doesn't want to try to have any more children. Also, you've got lovely Sabrina is like, I think, mid 40s, and she already has a child. She doesn't
Right.
want any more children. Yeah, you've got quite a few. Now, Tasia, on the other hand, she's very young. I think in her early 30s, and she does want children.
Yeah, she wants a basketball team.
Oh, she's the one that I thought I heard her say three. That's three's not a basketball team.
Yeah, but that's what I'm getting feedback on my end. I'm not sure why, but that's what Phil was saying, that he wanted that they could have a basketball team. So, you know, maybe that's what they'll end up having if they end up together, which I doubt, because he's not going to choose her.
Okay. Okay.
I think he's leaning more toward Shiloh or Zadia. You
I
know,
think
at least,
I think I think he is too. Yes.
at least I would. You know, I would go more towards Shiloh or Zadia.
Right, right. Yeah, I think yeah. Shiloh, Zadia. And what's the other young lady? Moomin doesn't have any children, so I think that she's also very young. I would imagine. I don't know if anyone's asked her, but I would think that she wants kids too.
Yeah, she's the singer, right?
Who, Moomin?
Yeah,
Yes, she is. You're right. She is in the arts. You're right.
yeah.
Oh, and then what about Camille?
What about her?
Alex. Well, Camille, I was shocked, I think, on one day because I never heard her mention it, but apparently she does have a son already. And but she hasn't really said. I don't really know. I don't recall anyone asking her if she wants to have more children or not.
For me, Camille got a whole bunch of red flags. Whole bunch of red flags for me. First of all, even her friends blew up her spot. You don't. Her friends said you get bored very easily. You've been
Right.
engaged a few times. So what makes this situation so special? What makes Cornelia so special? Because you've walked out on a couple of engagements. You get bored easy. You got a bad attitude, obviously. You know. So what is it? And so she got a bad pattern, and that's something that Cornelius need to look at. On top of the fact that she's controlling,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah, she's very controlling. What about her the way she talked to him? Was she verbally abusive, calling him what did she call him, a dumbass country bumpkin?
yeah, right, right, and that is
I,
verbally abusive because if
I,
if if he had said that to her, the whole country be in an uproar right now. That
that's
he had
right.
the audacity to say that to her on television, and these men don't respect women, and blah blah blah. Everybody being in an uproar, but she say that to him, and we laugh it off. You
I didn't
know,
laugh it off, and I've seen on many of the blogs and in on Facebook in the groups. I've seen a lot of women complaining about that. No, that Alex, I disagree with you. That is not funny any kind of way, any shape or form. Verbal abuse is verbal abuse. She sat
Mhm.
up and called that man a dumbass country bumpkin, and then I forget she said something else right after that. Um, and I was just floored. I was like, "You mean to tell me?" But what I don't understand though is why Cornelius never said anything back to her, because he could have said, even as a man, I think he would have said, "Hey, listen, you don't need to speak to me like that."
Well, I think he's playing too much of a nice guy, which is another red flag because her friends at the meet and greet with her friends said
Right.
she don't like nice guys. She take advantage of nice guys. So again, they gave him every sign that he need to have. Now, if he don't take it, that's on him. But she's showing him what she is each and every day.
Yeah, each and every date they have, you're right. And one of the things I notice is there are a couple of other women who are interested in Cornelius, want to get to know him, want to date him. Even this past week, he went out with who was it? Was it Zadia?
It was Adia. Yeah.
Yeah, he went out with Zadia, and in his confessional, as they were sitting down for the date, he said, I think she's really attractive. I like her, but I'm afraid of what Camille might say.
Right. He said he don't want Camille to think he's out doing anything he shouldn't be doing. What shouldn't you be doing? This is a dating show. You know
Exactly.
what I mean? So whatever you're doing, you should be doing it. If you want to go on a date with Zadia, if you want to go on a date with Tasia, if you want to go on a date with Sabrina, whoever. But ever since Camille locked in on him, he hasn't seen anybody else. This was Zadia was trying to tell him, you know.
Right.
So
Yeah, I don't
they're
get it.
giving him another shot by not kicking him off because Sean was more expendable. You know,
Absolutely.
Sean is Mr. No Job, and that's the other thing. How the hell you don't have a job and you want all these kids? That don't go together. You
No,
gotta
it
go, bro.
doesn't. I got another one for you though, Alex. How is it you're out here trying to date and you don't have sufficient means of support? Why aren't you working on that first, sir?
Right. I mean, if you're dating seriously, but if you out here playing, then it don't matter if you have any sufficient means or whatever. But if you out here, dating with a purpose, you better have some stuff set up. You know what I mean?
Right,
Because what are
right.
you bringing? What are you bringing this person into? A studio apartment with no lights on. I mean, what are you bringing them into? That they're
Right.
supposed to love? Because listen, we all know from personal experience. I don't know if you've ever had it, but I know in my life when I was young, I've had it. I don't care what the swinging from the chandeliers and the honeymoon period and the lovey-dovey stuff. All that will go away if money problems come into the play.
Or the
All
first
that
of
other
the
stuff
month
will
with
move.
the first of the month when the rent or the mortgages due, right?
That's it. All that lovey-dovey, all that goes away. Because if you got to face the street every month, you don't feel too loving. I can guarantee you that.
No, if I gotta sit in the house and it's cold and it's the middle of like it is now, it's like the beginning of December, it's not gonna do too good. I'm not gonna do too well. No.
No, no, not at all. And
Mm.
I'm still not sure what Sabrina really wants. Only thing I know Sabrina don't really want is a small penis. That's the only thing I know.
Oh, is she the young lady that said that she doesn't care for small
She
peen
was she was very clear in episode 1. She said she cannot do small penises anymore. So
anymore? I'm
anymore.
still flabbergasted that she said that, but
So that's a lot. That's a
I
lot of
will.
pressure right
I,
there.
I'm not. Yeah, I don't understand in 2021 how women are not able to discern penis size. I'm a little lost on that.
This is what the woman said. Now, I don't know if she wants the thing hanging down to his knee or whatever, because that might put her in the hospital. But so how do you? What size are we talking about here? You know. So, but she was very clear about that in the beginning. That was one of her prerequisites. That's something that she did not want to deal with. And of course, the other stuff is being a good provider, being nice looking, being respectful, things of that nature. So, but I'm gonna tell you this:
What's
my
that?
top three, okay, Shiloh, Zadia, and my wild card is Sydney. That's my wild card, you know, because she seems exciting. Now she's very young, of course, but she seems very exciting. She's very, very gorgeous. So that's the first thing you look at. But she's also seen very, very exciting. The question is, can she get that party girl element out of her? That's the thing. Because you don't want no
You
party
talking
girl.
about you talking about young Sydney, the latest addition to the show that came in kind of
Yeah,
late.
yeah, the newest one, yeah. And
Yeah,
right now, she's interested in Frank. And she knows Frank previously from the nightlife. So they already have, a relationship, a friendship already.
Yeah, she seems to be quite taken with Frank. She seems to like she's been looking at Frank and she's been admiring him from afar. Now, I'm not sure the level of familiarity that they have if she went to if they know each other from social media or what. I'm not really sure.
Well, she said they know each other from the nightlife. That what she said, and Frank said the same thing. So they have a previous relationship as far as friendship. I'm not sure if they were
Mhm.
ever intimate, but they're very familiar through the nightlife.
Yeah, it's something they are familiar because now so when he had the meet and greet with her friend, her gay husband and her girlfriend India, um, he was very physical with her, very touchy-feely, very much caressing her legs and her thighs. What did you think about that?
Well, listen, if he's really into her like that, he's gonna want to be touchy feely, and as long as she's comfortable with it. I mean, she didn't shy away from it. She actually leaned into him a little bit more when he was doing that. If,
She did.
had she been leaning the opposite direction, I would say, well, she's not feeling that. He needs to stop that. But she wasn't. She was almost welcoming it. So it's fine if they welcome it. You know, it's almost like the young lady who was out with Dante, and then the other guy came in um, on the date. Was that Mumia?
That was no. I think you're talking about wasn't it Tasia? Wasn't it Tasia or was it Carrie? No, it was Carrie.
Uh huh.
Before Carrie left, it was Carrie and Dante, and then it was Phil and Shiloh,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah, yeah, because it was one. I think it was wow. I think it was Mumia. I'm not sure, but she was with.
No. It was a heavier young lady because and how I know that was because when she went in to touch Dante, if you recall, he kind of recoiled back.
Right. You talking about last week's show? I'm talking about last week's show, episode 8, where they
Mhm.
was meeting all the friends.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah,
Okay, no.
yeah,
Okay. Yeah,
right.
okay.
So I'm talking about when I think she was on out with Dante, and then meeting her friends, and another gentleman walked in. I don't recall his name.
Mhm.
I think he's the one with the 3 kids by 3 different women. I think.
Yeah,
Um,
that's Dante.
yeah. So and then they had to swap each other out, during this friend meet and greet. You know, so it's hard to
Oh,
say.
Walter came in. You talking about with Moomin.
Right,
Yeah, okay. Walter, the older, smoother guy came in.
right.
The one who has a wife who passed away.
That's
Right.
it. Right. That's right. That's right.
Yeah, Walter. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I got the episode. Okay, I wasn't following you. Okay, yeah, that was Walter. Yeah, yeah. Moomin. I mean, she made a big deal about Dante seeming to be more comfortable, but of course, if he's the first man there, and probably assuming he thought that he was going to be the only man to meet her friend, but then in walks Walter. Of course, Walter is looking like, what is this?
Right. Right. And
Yeah,
she's like, oh, Dante was holding my hand. He seems a little bit more affectionate. Yada yada. Because he was sitting right next to you. I mean,
exactly.
so obviously, when Walter walks in, he sits beside Dante because that's the only seat.
That was the
So
only seat, right?
you can't fault him for not wanting to touch you or caress your hand because he's not close enough.
Right. What was he gonna do? Like have one of those super long hands and reach over and above Dante and try to grab your other. I mean, what was he gonna do? That just didn't even make any sense to me.
I would suggest you don't reach across Dante's lap and grab nothing. So you might grab the wrong thing,
Oh, that would not be nice.
No, that's a fight. So
Yeah.
so he did the right thing. Sit there, be cool, chill out until Dante leaves. Then he move over to the other seat and see what
Right.
happens. So,
Right.
but I think the friend thing, meeting the friends and so forth, can be very uncomfortable because everybody has their likes or dislikes about people with all these questions and everything like that. But I think Camille's situation, they really, her friends really let the cat out the bag with her. They really let the cat out the bag with her. All kind of red flags. All kind of red flags. So
Oh, yeah, with Camille. Right, right. Because her one friend, that guy said, he said that she has commitment issues.
commitment issues, right? She don't stay with nobody long. She had a couple of engagements already. She basically left guys at the altar, which I guess he was joking around, but I know what he meant. You know,
Right, right.
she gets bored easily. She don't like nice guys typically. It's not her thing. So that's too much. You know, that's too much. I don't think she's ready. And you can look at all that booty and hips and all that. Yeah, that's for fun. But you trying to build a life with somebody, you can't be on the edge of your seat every day wondering if they're gonna walk out or stay or what. You can't be worried about that.
Right, right. Yeah, I don't get it. I really don't get it with her. Like, maybe I'm thinking about this. Okay, so maybe this is just a theory. Go with me for a second, okay? I
Right,
think that she could be like a reverse male, like, a guy. Like, so typically we know that sometimes immature men especially will be chase after a woman, and then when he gets what he wants, he gets disinterested. So in this sense, she dates guys, she gets in a relationship, she builds them up, they propose to her, and then she loses interest.
right. Yeah, because for a lot of guys out here, um, it's about the chase, and then once we chase and hunt and catch the prey and conquer the prey, the excitement's over. It's the excitement of the hunter, excitement of the hunt. You know, unfortunately, I think that changes as you get older. Obviously, that's a young man thing. But I'm looking at a lot of
Okay.
these guys; they are young. Like I'm looking at Phil be a player. I'm like, who does Phil really want? You know, he seemed to be the guy of choice for a lot of these women. You know, he don't have any children. He's never been
Mhm.
married that I'm aware of.
No, he hasn't been. I mean, that's the storyline. He's never been married, has no children. He seems like the perfect catch, and he's attractive.
Right. He was on 3 different dates with 3 different sets of friends. So I'm trying to see who he connected with the best out of those 3. What are your thoughts on that? Or the ladies that's listening, what are your thoughts about Phil and having those 3 dates, and what did you take from that?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I myself, and I'm waiting for somebody. Go ahead and chime in, ladies. If you're on the line, go ahead and throw a question in the chat, please, by all means. But in the meantime, I think Phil, the thing I was looking at with Phil, like, so when they first did the intro for Chocolate City, for Washington, D.C., the DMV, I was looking at the pictures and I thought Phil, for me, he actually kind of reminds me of my son when he was younger. So Phil has kind of, to me, a boyish face, like boyish good looks, right?
Right?
He's tall. Like you said, he's never been married before, and he has no children, and he wants children. So I think if I were a young woman in my late 20s, early 30s, and I didn't have any children, I would want someone that we're going to do this thing together, for the first time, you and I. I wouldn't necessarily want to be with a guy who's been married, he's got kids and everything, is nothing's new to him anymore, right?
Right. Right.
So I think the other thing about it is what I've seen from Phil on the dates is that he makes each woman, the 3 days that he went on last week, he made each of those women feel like they were the only woman in the room. That's important.
Hmm.
That's important. So I was like, wow, look at him. Like, it wasn't until the ladies got to the lounge and they started going around the room talking about who their dates were with, their meet and greets with their friend. And the ladies were like, you went with Phil? Your friends met Phil? Tasia said that. Shiloh said it. And who was the other woman?
Aisha.
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 They were all like, Phil was on this many dates?
Right. Right. And so I'm asking you, and any of the ladies that's listening, who do you think he connected with the best of the 3 days that we saw, and why?
What I noticed was how what I noticed was, the hug that he gave each one of the women at the end was very similar, but there was a couple of times, like when Shiloh's friends asked him, well, were there any red flags about Shiloh? And he said, no, absolutely not. She's perfect. And he hugged her then. I didn't see him do that with any of the other two women.
Right. Well, with Aisha, she was still on it. So he didn't seem to be resisting that. Tasia, he was on the opposite side of the table. If you remember that, he was on the opposite side of the table when they were
Oh
talking
yeah,
about
yeah.
having kids and stuff like that. So he didn't sit next to her like that. That's why, to me, I'm saying I didn't see the connection with Tasia because he didn't bother to sit next to her. See,
Well,
the other 2 days he sat next to them. He sat next to Aisha. He sat next to Shiloh.
yeah, you know what? That's a good point. But I was wondering, the way they had it set up, yeah, I was wondering about that. I was wondering, so like, did he walk into the meeting and her girlfriends were already seated there, like one was sitting on her side? Is that the setup? I don't know. I mean, they really, we're dropped into the scene and the scene is already taking place, so I don't know.
I mean, there's a certain setup. I'm a filmmaker, so there's a certain setup. You tell the person when you come in, don't walk beyond this point because there's camera angles and stuff like that to consider. Okay,
Hmm.
but when you're on a dating show, okay, and you interested in someone, you sit next to them.
But not
You
if there's somebody already in the chair. What do you do? Say,
no,
hey, get up. What do
no.
you
I mean,
do?
think about the scene with Tasia. Okay, there
Okay.
was nobody sitting directly. There was a friend on the other side of her. You could have came and sat on the other side of her. If you wanted to really sit next to her. Now, maybe I'm nitpicking or whatever. I just think it's interesting that he sat next to the other women, next to Aisha and Shiloh, but didn't sit next to Tasia. And quite honestly, to me, Tasia may be the next to go because I don't see her having an honest connection with anyone thus far. I don't see it.
No, I don't either. I think to see, and I'm glad you brought us to this point. To see it in my mind, she's beautiful. Physically, she's beautiful. She's articulate. She's like she says, a boss lady. She's got it going on. But other part of that is she really seems to have a kind of entitled attitude, in my opinion.
Right?
She seems to think that, she's a little bit better than some of the other people. And even with the men, it's like, she's been angry to see. Isn't she the one that's been upset ever since the beginning when she was in the bottom two? Isn't that's to see it, right?
Yeah, yeah. He's like, y'all play too much.
Right, but it's a show. It's a dating show, and whatever she did, she was worried about, well, I got a bunch of numbers, but I don't know how she got those numbers. Maybe she just asked the guys and they just obliged her, but doesn't mean because somebody gives you their number doesn't mean that they really want you.
Yeah. And I think it's also that with her in the ladies thing where the ladies met after all the meetings and they were kind of going at each other for some reason about narrowing it down. They want to narrow it down to a guy or two or whatever, and it got
Hmm.
kind of heated in there when the women were speaking. And I think that's happening now because it's going to be getting down to the nitty gritty. People are going home, and nobody wants to go home. So all this stuff about, oh, this is my friend or that's my friend or that, we see this every season. Women develop relationships, amongst themselves too. Women that they like as far as friends or whatever. But as the season goes on and gets toward crunch time, they start turning on each other. because they don't want to go home.
Oh yeah, yeah, that does happen, right, right.
They don't want to go home. So I think that's why Zadia um, was so animated at the women's meet. I think Sydney, was a little bit. Of course, Camille with her BS. Um,
Right, right.
Tasia, Aisha. They were only one that was really laid back at that was Shiloh, and kind of laid back with that. But they
She
all,
was.
yeah,
Shiloh seems to kind of be above the fray. I like her style. I like how she kind of leans back and lets the other women, do the drama. But I suspect that before the season is over, I suspect that there's going to be some drama involving Shiloh. I really do. And the
yeah,
reason why I say that is because Phil really likes her.
hmm right,
Phil really likes her. And if you think about it, so if Tasia is still around, or even if what is it, Aisha,
yeah,
if she's around, if those two ladies are around, Shiloh's going to have her hands full. Because did you see the clip that they showed coming up in one of the next episodes that Phil lifts Shiloh up on the counter and he's right in her face, like they look like they're about to kiss or get really intimate?
yeah. I didn't see that. Yeah,
Oh, you missed it, honey. It was a good one.
right. So that's the episode that's coming up.
They'll show these clips, and sometimes it's the very next episode, and sometimes it's maybe two episodes down the way, down the pike.
Right.
But
So
it looked like a scene where I'm thinking maybe they're going to do that house party thing where they get all the couples that are remaining, all the singles, and they put them in a resort
right.
to let them see who really likes whom, and for everybody to kind of mix and mingle. And then at that point, that's usually where the tempers flare.
Or really, that's what the tip
Right.
is. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, think about it last season, right? You have Vernisha finding out that Joelle had kissed Amber, and that wasn't pretty. They were arguing for like a whole day.
hmm Yeah.
Yes.
I think Sydney got to get out of her comfort zone and pull away from Frank a little bit and spend some time with some of the other guys because and here's why I say this.
Okay.
Her and Frank they're from the nightlife. They know each other through the nightlife, right?
Right.
But if you're looking to settle down and start to build a life with somebody or whatever case may be, you can't be in the nightlife. So maybe she should try to entertain one of the gentlemen that's not in the nightlife, that has a very reserved kind of lifestyle, who's kind of laid
Mm,
back or so forth, to
mm,
see how she connects with that instead of just staying where she's comfortable. Because I think with Frank, she's comfortable because of the nightlife. Anytime you want something in life, you want what you really want, you got to prepare
right.
to be comfortable to get it. And I think that's true in relationships, it's true in business. When you aspire to greatness or have goals, you have to prepare to be uncomfortable. And I think she got
Right.
to do that. She got to do that in this circumstance to see if she likes something different than the nightlife.
That's a good point. I think I follow you on that, and I think you're right. Um, that's a very good point. I'm trying to think who she could be paired with. Maybe Dante. I don't know if I like that, so
You know,
much, but
I would pair her with someone who don't have any children, because
Cornelius.
she doesn't
Cornelius.
she doesn't seem to me to be at this point willing to take on a stepmother type role. You know, if she's coming out of the nightlife and want to settle down and build a family, it probably should be her own children that she's building this with a gentleman. Because coming into a ready-made situation where a guy has children and so forth, I think it'd be too much for somebody like her because of her age and because she's a party girl. It'd be too much, too quick, in my
That's
opinion.
true. I think that's a good point. I think you've got a very good point. And I was just thinking, I don't know, maybe Cornelius.
If he can get away from Camille for 5 seconds,
Just 5 seconds.
5 seconds, because Zadia likes Cornelius too. You
Yeah,
know, so it's like, give him a shot. See what it's about. It's clear that Camille got her horns, got her locks or her claws into Cornelius. That's what she's been wanting from probably like the second episode, if that long, maybe even the first episode. So he hasn't spent any time with anybody else, and that's not fair. That's really not fair to the process. It's not fair to the process, in my opinion. You gotta sit down with everyone to see who you have chemistry with. And I'm looking at
I
your question, and I think absolutely she should date somebody other than Frank. What were we just talking about?
right. Yeah, I think so. I think you bring up a very good point because she is young. She's never been married. She doesn't have any children. And like you said, sometimes too, it's nice to be comfortable because you're familiar with the person, but maybe like you said, the whole point of the show is to date, open yourself up, and as long as a person is not going against your major core values, maybe see if there's something there. So it's nothing wrong with, like, I believe Cornelius is the one who's an electrical engineer. um I think that, open yourself up to that,
Yeah.
you know
I don't think that was Cornelius. That was the
uh
other guy. That was the
Walter.
that was
Walter.
Walter. That was Walter.
Well,
Yeah.
I think they're both, if Cornelius is not an electrical engineer, he's in the electrical field. So maybe I misstated that. Yeah,
Oh,
they're both in the electrical field. So maybe that's what I should say.
yeah. And I'm gonna tell you that I know a lot of
Oh,
electric. It's a lot of
oh,
money in that field.
oh, absolutely, absolutely. Oh, I just thought about, we're completely forgetting about, who would be nice for her, might be nice for her. Naeem.
Nice for who?
For who we're talking about, Sydney, the young lady
Sydney?
Sydney, the guy named Naeem, the tall, dark-skinned guy.
Yeah. Well, why him?
I think he's just a nice guy. I think he's laid back. I don't know. I think that Sydney would probably bring him out. He doesn't seem like he's shy. He just seems like he's maybe a little more introspective. I don't know. I just think he would be nice. He doesn't have any children and he's never been married. That's what we were just saying, right?
Yeah. Didn't they? I think they had a moment in those little bubbly things a few episodes back when she first came to the show. I think it was the second episode that she was actually
Mm.
in. They sat in the little bubbly things and talked, like those little kid pen, like the play pen with little bubbles and balls.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
remember that they sat in there and they talked, and
Yeah,
they had a connection then, but they haven't been back on a date that we've seen
that we've
because
seen, and that's true.
I think when Frank stepped in and she saw familiarity, she kind of went back to what she was accustomed to, which is dangerous. You know what I mean? Just always going back to what you're accustomed to. I mean, this may be a little strange, but this is why a lot of people, when they're in toxic situations or abusive situations or whatever, and they see something different or promising on the outside, right? And they may peek in and see, but if anything goes wrong with that, they'll go back to what they're accustomed to, whether it's toxicity or abuse or whatever. They'll go back to that because they feel safe in that, if that makes any sense whatsoever. Because people always gravitate back to what they're used to. It takes a
Well,
lot of courage. It takes a lot of courage to go after something different.
that's a good point. That's an excellent point. I like that idea. And while we're at it, I'm gonna tell you, can we go back to Cornelius for a second, right?
Oh Lord.
Well, I don't know. What's the matter? What's the matter, Alex?
No,
Um,
go back to him because Camille, he got a lot of issues with him. But go ahead.
okay, okay, but we're just gonna, for a moment, we're gonna act like he's an independent thinker, okay? So
Act
follow
like
with me. Follow with me for a second. So Cornelius, he says that he's saving, he wants to wait for sexual relations until marriage, right?
Yep.
Moomin is also declared at the beginning of the show, the season, that she is waiting for marriage to have sexual intimacy. I don't know why the two of them have never been paired on a date.
Uh, that's a good point because Camille clearly stated in the last episode, she said she would like to test the waters before marriage because she said she don't want to get married and be in a situation where she look and go, "Oop, it's little." Those are her exact words.
Right, right. That's right. She did say
So
that.
she did say that. So if she want to test the waters and Cornelius is trying to hold off for marriage, right away they're unequally yoked, as the Bible would say. You know,
Right.
so he has to try and go out with Moomin or Zadia or some other people. And I think a lot of what Camille is doing too is out of fear because she knows if he does go out with those other women or see what those other women are about, he's going to drift away from her because she's too overbearing and controlling, and nobody wants to be in that.
I think, yeah, that's a very good point. So I've been thinking about this, and I'm almost ready to say that she's a manipulator. Camille,
Yeah.
she's a manipulator, and I think she is able to manipulate men to believe that they're in love with her, but they're not really looking at the totality of who she is.
Mm.
She's attractive. She's a nice looking woman. Like you said, she has a great figure. Somebody said it the other day, body yaddy yaddy.
Right.
She's got the body, and she takes care of herself. She keeps herself up. Um, but as a person, for someone to be that controlling and that domineering, verbally abusive, saying that you're just a country bumpkin, a country ass bumpkin, the way she spoke to him in that moment, even though she did later come back and apologize, if I were Cornelius, I wouldn't want to be in a relationship with her, because that right there, that red flag and that verbal abuse, that would have just went over. It would have went into a spot where, you know what, it would have triggered me. That's okay. It was nice talking to you, and just keep your distance from me. But yeah, I don't think that people see her totally for who she is, because she's very manipulative.
Hmm. And I think to be with somebody like that, there would have to be there's probably would be a lot of apologies from her because she knows she
Yeah.
acts out, and then when the situation calms down and she gets her way, she wants to apologize. Everything's not going to go your way in a relationship. I've been in those relationships where people, if things don't go their way, they mad the whole day is gone off of one statement. Like, oh, can we do this today? Nah, I don't feel like it today. Let's just chill out and do something different today, or whatever. Not a whole day is shot because you disagree on one thing. They didn't get their way, so the whole day is gone. And I don't have that kind of time. It's like we all get 24 hours in the day.
Right.
You want to waste my 24 because you mad over a 2-minute discussion we couldn't agree on, so you mad the rest of the day. Instead of agreeing to disagree and move on from there and have fun the rest of the day. See, that's why I'm at in my life now. I don't do the arguing thing no more. I went through that stage when I was younger. We argue because the passionate love making, you made up and it was passionate and all that. That young stuff. I don't have time for that no more. It's like, listen, you are who you are. I am who I am. If you don't agree, that's fine. I don't agree, that's fine. We can agree to disagree and move to the next
Right.
subject. But I'm not going to sit up there and not speak to you for a whole week over something minor because that's a week of our life we're never getting back.
You're never gonna get that time back. Right. Right.
So why
Yeah, I
waste
was
it over something trivial?
right. Exactly. And Camille seems like that type. She, like you said, that's a very good point. She seems petty like that. She seems like if things don't go her way, she's not going to be happy and she's going to make you suffer. She's going to make the guy suffer. So I
And
don't, that's why I say I don't really see why Cornelius can't see that, that he's in this relationship with her. And then the other thing is, well, he still doesn't even know her well enough for him to, at least I feel like he doesn't know her well enough to make this final decision. If you came on the show to date and to meet various people, various women, then why not go ahead and do that? And just let Camille know in a nice way, hey, Camille, we came here to date and see other people to see where our connection lies, where our deepest connection lies. I want to go ahead and date other women and we'll see what happens. You still have a place in my heart, but let's see. And I think you should date other men too, right?
Camille ain't going for that because she's been on other dates with men and she was not receptive at all. She was
No.
totally shut down. She was on a date
She,
with she was on a date with Dante and she just was not involved in the date at all. And
I, yeah, go ahead.
and this was the episode where they were trying to kick her off, but they kicked off the other young lady, the real pretty one, the horny one. What was her name again?
Oh, Courtney. I'm like, who is that? Oh yeah, Courtney. Yeah, Courtney was a horn dog. She definitely
Yeah.
was a horn dog. Yeah.
So they decided to kick her off and kept Camille. But it was that episode that she was on a date with Dante. I think it was Dante, and she just was not involved. She hurry up now, snapping her fingers and chop 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 now, all this nonsense. She's not
Yeah.
trying to get to know anybody else. That was Tyrone's problem with Shiloh. That's why he's home, because he zoned in on Shiloh too early. Oh,
He
that's my
did.
wife. That's my wife. That's your wife.
What? Yeah, I didn't understand that because when the end of the week came and it was the ladies' chance to dismiss a guy, they ended up dismissing Tyrone, and it was because he kept telling all the women, Shiloh's my wife. What the heck?
Right. Right.
How
So
how is Shiloh your wife? How Shiloh doesn't even know this yet.
right. And that might have been what scared her off. I know when she told him he had to go home, she was crying and she felt like she was touched and all that kind of stuff. But she probably also felt relieved because now she could focus on going through the process with some other
Right.
guy. And I think, think about this.
Mm-hmm.
Shallow did that with Tyrone, right? And once she did that with Tyrone, she freed herself
Mm-hmm.
without the guilt of this guy's only focused on me. He's not going to go through the process. I want to go through the process. So I'm going to free him from this and in essence free myself. This is what Cornelius needs to do with Camille. Okay. She's not looking at anybody else. She's only looking at him. He wants to go through the process. So he needs
Right.
to free himself and free her, to get that out the way so he can see maybe Zadia or Shiloh or somebody else. Hell, he may end up with Sabrina. Who knows? But he'll never know long as he got Camille on his back like a wart.
What you say, like a wart?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh yeah.
So
Okay. So Felicia chimes in here. Let me see what Felicia is saying. Camille is dangerous. She looks for someone she perceives as weak. Yes.
bingo.
Yes. Absolutely, Felicia. I
Yeah,
I
bingo.
100% agree. Yes. What are you saying, Alex? I'm sorry.
I said bingo.
Yep. Bingo. Bingo.
This is
Yeah.
why
I
she can't
think.
stay with nobody. This is why she can't stay with nobody. Her own friend said she been engaged a few times. She get bored easily and all that because once she can't control you, once you're controlled, she gets bored with you. There's no challenge. You're easy. You're a puppet. So, but
Right.
if perhaps she had a guy that constantly goes back at her and demands his respect and stand up to her BS, she'll stick with him a little longer. But Cornelius is the type of guy he'll fold. He fold. He don't want to argue. He don't want to stand up to her. He don't want to be strong, with her or whatever. So she gonna get bored with him anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, absolutely. Absolutely. If a woman, I think, women lose respect for men that they can walk all over. I mean, I'll speak for myself. I can't speak for all women, but I'll speak for myself, and I would have lost respect for him at the point where, first of all, I would have never told a man that I cared about and wanted to be with in a romantic sense. I would have never told him the things that she said when she called him a dumbass country bumpkin and, just started mocking him and making fun of him. I would have never done that because the moment I've done that, that tells me I've lost respect for you. And if I've lost respect for you as a man and as a person, guess what? I'm really not interested in being with you at that point.
And women don't like that. Women do not like that because y'all will test us. Y'all will test us. Women like to do that kind of stuff. Let me put this scenario out there to see how he respond to it. You know,
Okay.
and if you fail the test, they go, nah, he not the one. He failed that test. He not the one. You know, y'all do it all the time because y'all gotta see, how does this man stand up to adversity? How does he stand up to challenges? What is he like in a crisis? Blah blah blah. Y'all will put that stuff out there and just sit back and watch him. So that's what happens.
I think it works both ways. I think men and women do test each other and their the tolerance level, right?
Mhm.
I think that
Well,
we do that on both
yeah,
sides.
yeah, and like I said, I'm not gonna allow a woman to walk all over me. If she walking all over me, she better be barefoot and naked. That's the only way she gonna walk on
Oh
me.
my.
So
Oh
if
my.
barefoot, naked, and about to hit the freak zone, that's the only way.
Okay, let's keep this PG-13 now,
Oh,
sir.
yep, that's PG-13. That's PG-13.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
You know, I didn't,
yeah.
I didn't,
Okay.
use, I didn't use any expletives. You know,
No, you did not. You've been very gentlemanly.
that,
You
that,
have
that's because
been
I'm
very
that's because I'm a
t-
nice guy, and I can never be with Camille because I'm a nice guy.
oh, you coin yourself as a nice guy, huh?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Hmm.
Okay. Well, yeah, no, you wouldn't be from what we've seen of Camille and even her friends, and this is really sad. Now that's a total red flag. But of course, Cornelius wasn't there to hear it. That it was after he had left for the meet and greet with her friends. When her friends said to her, you don't like nice guys. You mistreat nice guys. And I felt like we already saw that this whole season that she mistreats Cornelius, and she's mistreated the other gentleman too, right?
Right,
She's been very dismissive and very rude. So
right. And I'm gonna say this as we wrap up. We getting toward the top of the hour.
yes,
Um, I'm gonna say this as we wrap up. Frank was on a date with Moomin, and they feeding each other directly from their mouths. So I'm not sure. Now that's a very intimate thing. So what
was
what
it?
is
Wait a
that?
minute, was it Frank and Moomin? Are you saying, or was this
It wasn't.
Camille and
No,
name?
it was Frank and Moomin were feeding
Okay.
each other direct. He put a piece of food in his mouth, kissed her, and she ate. She bit the food and ate it like that. That's a very
Oh my,
intimate thing.
I must have went to get a beverage because I missed this. Okay.
Yeah, this is an episode ago, the episode before last week's episode, I believe. You know,
Okay.
so if he's like that with her, why wasn't he meeting her friends and things like that? Why was he meeting Sydney's people? You know, so that kind of threw me for a loop as well. 'Cause I thought Frank and her
Hmm.
were developing a connection, and all of a sudden, again, a familiarity. Okay, Frank is out with Moomin, exchanging, swapping food from each other's mouth or whatever case may be. But then he runs back to what he knows, what he's comfortable with, the nightlife. Sydney, they both do it. Frank and Sydney, they're not good for each other, in my opinion. So I'm gonna leave that there. We're gonna see
Okay.
tomorrow. We're gonna see tomorrow where this goes. But
Right. Right.
but again, my top three, if I haven't been clear, Zadia, Shiloh, and Sydney's my wild card.
Okay. All right. Well, before we wrap this up, I think we have a few more minutes. Can you tell our viewers how to get in touch with you through social media. Tell them a little bit about that if you'd like to.
Well, I'm the coming year. I'll be starting a podcast of my own, which I'll have different handles, names, and things of that nature. But right now, they can find me on Instagram under AW Leaf on Instagram. That's the
Okay.
best way to get me. Yep.
Okay. All right. Let me see if I can get that in there real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then anything else you wanted to tell them about your movie that's
Are you talking about
on
Cycle?
yeah, go ahead and tell them about it while I get this in there, okay?
Yeah, well, go see Cycle on Amazon. You go to Amazon, search movies, type in Cycle, CYCLE. It's a great movie about domestic violence. It's been very successful for us. We've been invited to speak at various engagements. Well, the director has been invited to speak at various engagements regarding this issue, and the room has been in tears and things of that nature. We have a couple other film projects in the works right now that we're developing and attaching some talent to. So it's the business part of show business. But we're looking forward to the coming year and some new stuff coming out.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you once again for gracing us with your presence. You seem to be very in tune with the Ready to Love season this season. And so maybe when you have a chance, maybe we could bring you back on the channel and do some more talking and chop it up again.
Absolutely. Anytime you want to come back, if my schedule permits, I'll be more than happy to come back.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And guys out there, I want to thank you for a wonderful broadcast. I want to thank you for tuning in. Thank all of you who've subscribed in the last couple of weeks. It means the world to me. Please keep watching. Please keep subscribing. Like this video, share it with your friends that are Ready to Love fans. And we're out.